Good morning, I'm James Gruber, and welcome to the Morning Report for Thursday, the 9th of April. Well, the US and Iran have agreed to a 2-week ceasefire, sending crude prices lower on expectations that energy supplies through the Strait of Hormuz could resume. The announcement came hours before US President Donald Trump's deadline for Iran to reopen the strait, with a senior Iranian official saying the passage could be open this week ahead of peace talks if the countries agreed upon a framework for the ceasefire. So, the terms of the ceasefire are yet to be finalised. Meanwhile, fighting is still raging across the region, with attacks on Lebanon and Iran's neighbours. Markets ignored that though, focusing instead on the ceasefire, with risk assets, which were pummeled in March, surging. Let's now take a deeper look at what's happened with Aussie futures, commodities and currencies. The ASX is poised to open lower, with index futures down 0.2%, perhaps because the market already priced in the ceasefire news yesterday. Speaking of the ASX 200 yesterday, it jumped more than 2% to 8,951.8, its highest in 5 weeks, and its biggest one-day gain in a year. Resources advanced 4.6% to hit its highest in a month. BHP and Rio Tinto rose 3% and 4.4% respectively. Financials gained 2.8%, driven by the Big Four banks. Energy stocks crashed, with Woodside Energy and Santos sliding 10.5% and 4.1% respectively. Moving to commodity markets, global oil prices tumbled on Wednesday in anticipation of the Strait of Hormuz reopening and energy supplies that have built up being able to pass through the shipping route. Brent crude futures settled down 13% to $94.75 a barrel, while NYMEX crude slid 16% to $94.41 a barrel. Base metal prices were mixed on Wednesday. Copper futures leapt to a 3-week high, up 3.9%, as the ceasefire eased fears of a global economic downturn. Meanwhile, aluminium futures dropped 0.7% as concerns eased about supply disruptions caused by the war. Gold futures hit a near 3-week high on Wednesday after the US-Iran ceasefire, which calmed inflation worries. The futures settled up 2% to $4,777 an ounce. Meanwhile, iron ore futures were little changed, down 0.1% to $107.83 a tonne. Let's take a look at currencies. The Aussie dollar was last trading up 1% to 70.40 US cents as investors weighed Mr. Trump's Iran deadline. And let's go back a step to see how Wall Street and other world markets did. The Dow Jones Index finished up 2.9%, the S&P 500 gained 2.5%, and the Nasdaq advanced 2.8%. Let's take a closer look at the trading day there. Wall Street climbed to near 1-month highs on Wednesday after the US and Iran agreed to a 2-week ceasefire. The S&P 500 Energy Index was the only one in the red, down almost 4.6%. ExxonMobil and Chevron dropped 4.7% and 4.3%, and Occidental Petroleum lost 5.1%. Travel-linked stocks jumped, with Southwest Airlines and United Airlines advancing 6.7% and 7.9% respectively. Delta Airlines advanced 3.8%, despite forecasting lower than expected profit for the second quarter. Cruise operators Carnival and Norwegian Cruise Lines added 9.7% and 7.3% respectively. The S&P 500 Tech Index rose 2.8%, helped by chip-linked stocks. SanDisk gains 10.5%, while Micron jumped more than 7.7%. Among other movers, Levi Strauss gained 10.7% after the denim apparel maker raised its annual sales and profit forecasts. Meanwhile, US government bond yields dropped on Wednesday as the Middle East ceasefire revived rate cut bets. The US 10-year Treasury yield was down 5 points to 4.30%, while the US 2-year Treasury yield was 4 points lower to 3.79%. To the European markets, the continent-wide FTSE Euro First 300 index finished 3.9% higher, while the UK FTSE 100 added 2.5%. Europe posted its biggest gain in a year on Wednesday. The gains were broad-based, with travel, industrials and banking advancing between 5.7% and 7.1%. Energy stocks were the sole outliers, down 2.3%. Shell fell 4.7% after the oil major cut its first quarter gas production outlook while signalling a surge in oil trading profit and a dent to short-term liquidity. So let's take a look at what's on the watch list. In Australia, Horizon Oil is trading ex-dividend today. There are also many companies making dividend payments, such as Atlas Arteria, Ventia, Brambles, CSL, Cube and SGH. In the US, final GDP figures for the fourth quarter are out, as well as unemployment claims. And that's it for today. For further developments on the local trading session, please tune into the CommSec Market Update podcast this afternoon, and of course, the Market Close video. Have a great day.